Right, just getting things underway. Gery Verbrugen will start. It's a couple of practice balls each for these two fellas, and for Gery, it's a case of just trying to rebuild some of the damage that was done in that first match, where really none of Team Europe, with the exception of Phil Scammell, none of them bowled well, and all the Americans bowled pretty well, so Gery's got some work to do. So this is not a practice ball, it's a start. He's had his practice, both players have practiced, so this is for real. Verbrugen, the left-handed Belgian, gets underway with a strike. And so important, Cass, for Europe to build some momentum and just forget about that Baker, because it really was an awful start for them.
You're quite right, Nick, but that Gery will put this game behind him. It's a brand new game. What's done is done, and he's opened up with a perfect strike, and that will make him very happy indeed.
So here's the man from Cleveland, Ohio, Bill Hoffman, better known as the Joker. Always got something to smile about, and he'll certainly be smiling now.
2 shots, 2 strikes. Great opening start. Nick, obviously the difference between these two bowlers is Bill is a right-hander, Gery is the left-hander, but Bill actually only bowls a 15-pound ball. And the reason for that is that he gets so much power and rotation on it. He does as much damage with it as a 16-pounder, which Gery uses.
So here is Verbrugen. The manager of a pro shop in his native country. He's found the pocket once again, so the lefty opens up with a double.
Okay, he's locked in nicely there, right into the 1-2 pocket for the left-hander. Here we see the slow motion replay. Gets a nice bit of length on that ball, and there's the break point. And the ball just hooks right, takes all those pins out. Puts pressure back on Bill.
Yes, I guess in that sense, Cass, it helps to bowl first, especially if you bowl in strikes, because you always put the pressure on your opponent. It means your opponent's got a match. So can Hoffman do just that here? And there's your answer.
Fantastic response, and Bill looks as though he's started telling some jokes already, jumping around the lane. Unfortunately, just a little bit light on that shot. He's left himself the 3-pin. No strike, but should be a straightforward spare.
Well, I don't know, Cass, you would know better than me. I always like to see a bowler just in his rhythm, and any time you see that rhythm broken for whatever reason, bad things often happen, and Gery did seem to take a little bit of time with that, and didn't get the strike, but as you say, it should be routine just to finish the job, and there it is.
Well, Nick, once they do get locked in, they can afford to speed up because they know exactly what they're doing. If they're slightly hesitant, they will take some time just to correct their mind before they start their approach. But that wasn't a bad spare.
But it gives Hoffman the chance to just get his nose in front. Got an interesting style, Hoffman, really corkscrewed up. It's not the way you'd want to see it in the textbook. Really bends himself over like that, almost like a banana. But it's only a bad habit if it doesn't work. And well, on that occasion it didn't work. The big 4.
Nice one, Nick. Yes, the 4, 6, 7, 10 split for Bill Hoffman in frame 3 after 2 strikes in a row has been picked up. In fact, I think we've seen Tim Mack do this on television once before.
Yes, we have, but we haven't seen Bill Hoffman do it.
No, open frame, I'm afraid.
That'll be frustrating for Hoffman, because there was a chance there just to really pour it on. So we take a look at the difference. I mean, look how upright Gery is in comparison. He's all twisted round Hoffman. Yeah,
his legs are bent, his body's bent, and really looks sort of slightly ungainly, but the result is quite good. And so is the body language.
Yeah. So Gery will want to exploit that open frame with a strike. And does. just managed to trip the 7-pin. That's what you do when your opponent leaves an open frame. Bill sees the funny side, of course.
Yeah, Gery has actually absolutely jumped on Bill here. He's hit the 1-2 pocket. The 7-pin stood just for a minute, and look at that fantastic body language. Real aggression in that shot. I'm not quite sure what Bill said, but maybe he's trying to put him off.
I tell you, there are no bad feelings between these fellas. It's Bill probably not feeling too good at leaving the 10-pin there, but it's no exaggeration. Yes, they're all good competitors. Yes, they all want to win, but the bottom line is they're all good mates as well. They love meeting up with each other, don't they, these bowlers?
Well, they do, and they certainly get some air miles between them. They meet up all around the world at international tournaments, and sometimes room together and travel together. And this is just another occasion where they're going to get together and go head-to-head.
Should be simple, and is. That sometimes can cause the right-handed bowler a problem, but it was absolutely vital that Hoffman got rid of that one.
Certainly was. It's going to keep him in touch with Gery, who's 17 pins in the lead, working with a strike.
Gery's my kind of guy when it comes to going out for dinner. He's a big Chinese fan, and he's always looking for a good Chinese restaurant. And I'm with him on that one, I have to say. But he also goes for those Belgian French fries, you know, the ones that are covered in mayonnaise, and he's on his own there as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, don't talk to me about those calories, Nick.
Can he clock up another double? Yes, he can. Double-double for the Belgian.
Fantastic shot from Gery. He's puts the pressure right back on Bill again.
So here's Bill. Well, he's just got to get a strike here just to keep himself within touching distance. And does. Yeah, and yes, it's a team game, and look at that. All 4 Americans are here to watch Bill Hoffman at work. And I'll tell you what, I don't see Gery Verbrugen's teammates there, and that is an interesting sort of difference in philosophy. The halfway stage of this first singles match in this year's Weber Cup. It's this man here with a growing advantage, and if he can get 3 in a row here, that advantage will be maintained. Yes! Oh, the bowling god smiled on him there.
Better late than never, I would say, Nick, but yeah, that's 3 in a row, and there's the European team.
There we go. So they weren't leaving Gery on his own, and maybe their presence has inspired him.
Well, it's inspired a 27-pin lead so far at the halfway stage.
They like that, didn't they? Bill looking for a double. In a bit of a patchy game for the Joker. Didn't these two meet last year as well, if memory serves me correctly?
Nick, you're quite right, yes. These two did meet up in the 2001 tournament, and Gery Verbrugen actually won it. It wasn't a high-scoring game. Gery had 188 and Bill 176. It's certainly going to be more than that this time, as Bill spares.
And he can't get the strikes going, Hoffman, after starting off with a double. He's had a few up and downs, that open frame, couple of spares, and it all means that Verbrugen is really in the box seat here, working 3 in a row as well.
Yeah, 5 strikes out of his 6 shots so far. And this is where players get locked into their strike shot. Now, there's no reason why he couldn't go off the sheet and strike all the way. Let's see what he can do.
Oh, well, he got a little bit lucky last time with that 7-pin, and I guess that luck's balanced out, perhaps.
Well, that shot was just a little bit wider. It went a bit longer down the lane before it broke into the pins, and that's why the 7-pin stood in the corner. The angle of entry was not quite right, but there's the 7-pin standing looking at him.
And it's the one the lefties don't like. You see, he's had to go a little bit wider to get the angle he wants on it. And absolutely spot on. We've seen them missed many times, especially in pressure games like this one. Pressure? What pressure, says Bill?
That's right, yeah. He's having a joke probably with Tim Mack on the side. Maybe the captain's telling him what line to bowl.
No, Bill, he'll be telling him to shut up and mind his own business.
36-pin lead for Team Europe at the moment. It's he looks a bit like a bendy Bill, doesn't he? Look at the way that knee bends.
Textbook. It would tell you not to do it, but Bill Hoffman is one of the world's best bowlers, so you're not going to tell him to change now.
No, he's been doing it for years, and I can't see him changing. Fantastic power and rotation on that ball. Straight in the 1-3 pocket. Those pins stand no chance.
And that keeps him in it. And it just means, really for the first time in this match, that Gery's got a situation where he needs a strike. He doesn't need it, but he wants it just to maintain that advantage. Otherwise, he could see Hoffman just continue to chip away. Yeah,
he's pacing about 220 now. If he stays clean, he's got a double and a turkey. So he'll be pacing at 220, but he obviously would like to increase that. So a strike here would put him very much in the driving seat.
There it is. That should ease any doubts.
Pressure right back on Bill now. Beautiful follow through there from Gery. Yeah, and a bit of body language as well. He knows he's got his nose in front now.
He's not got the best record in this competition, Bill Hoffman. 1-5, lost 7. It doesn't bring out the best in him.
Having said that, Nick.
Yeah, he's putting on a pretty strong finish here, and Gery's still got some work to do.
Yeah, that's right. He must. Bill must have heard you. We know he's the joker, and he's confident that he can strike at any time, but he's now shot 5 strikes.
And 26 pins is the deficit now. That's well overhaulable. So from what looked like a fairly routine procession for Gery Verbrugen, he's not in trouble, but he's got some work to do. He's going to have to win this thing. He can't wait for Hoffman to lose it for him.
No, that's right. He's going to have to shoot another strike here. Bill's never been known to lay down and give a game up.
Ooh, the 7 pins bouncing around, but doesn't want to know.
That could be a costly 7-pin. You notice the way Gery's not quite throwing it with an air of authority. He seems to be flipping the ball out onto the lane and just letting it ride back quite easily. Doesn't seem to be an awful lot of power there. But he's certainly getting the results from it, the way he's playing. Leaves himself a 7-pin wobbling in the corner.
Not for the first time. Now, he was spot on last time. Just goes a little bit wider, gets the angle, and is absolutely perfect on the spare. So it means that Hoffman can just eat into that lead a little bit more with a strike here.
Yeah, Bill will know that he's working on 2 strikes, and with frames running out, he certainly needs another one here.
Well, he's had a double. They call 3 strikes in a row turkey in the trade. That's what he wants. But that's not what he gets, and in fact he leaves himself a sleeper.
Nice one, Nick. Yeah, it's the 2-8 spare. It is called a sleeper. 1 pin right behind the other one, and it's a dodgy spare. It's quite tricky. You need to be very accurate to get these 2 out.
It always looks so easy to, as we just take another look at it, cast. For those of us that don't do this to the high level, you think, well, they're right next to each other, right one behind the other, it's a straight line, it should be easy, but it's not, is it?
Well, those pins are actually 12 inches apart, believe it or not, at the centres, and Bill's just shown us how to take that sleeper away. Good spare.
But that's not what he needed. A strike was what Bill needed there. It means that the pressure is off for Verbrugen.
Yeah, 28 pins he's got lead, both working on a spare. And it's frame 10 already.
And from here, all he's really got to do is avoid the split.
And he'll know that. So he's going to, he'll try and put it right back into the strike pocket for himself. But he won't be disappointed if it doesn't strike. He knows he's got the lead. He needs to play safe.
Well, that eliminates all doubt. Bowled a nice game here, Gery. And really has put the smile back on the Team Europe faces after a pretty miserable Baker.
Yeah, he's earned himself 2 extra shots in frame 10 after that first strike. Another 2 strikes and he'll have a rather good game of 238.
Some of the Americans have already gone back to the dressing room. I think 1 or 2 perhaps preparing for their doubles match. I think they know this one is over.
Yeah, I think Europe have chalked up their first win. And that confirms it. a fabulous shot from Gery.
Yeah, he's played a good game here. Just had that. Well, he didn't even have a wobble. He just had a spare just as Hoffman was striking, and just kept his game together enough and never gave Hoffman a chance. He's bowled a very sensible game here, the Belgian.
I'll tell you something, Nick. Gery's only had 3 spares in the whole game, and they were 3 single pins in the corner. This was actually not far off a 300 game. If those spares had just toppled over, the rest of his shots had been strikes, so it would have been a monster game.
He is quietly consistent, isn't he, Cass? He's not one of those rah-rah guys. You know, he's not the sort of fellow that draws attention to himself, but he just gets on and does it.
That's right, yeah. Former world champion. Looks pretty cool on the lanes, and he's got this game well sewn up. He'll be feeling a lot better now.
Might even experiment with this ball just to see if there's another line he can choose. It's a ball that technically doesn't actually count, and I think that's exactly what he was doing there.
235, Nick. That's a great game. And yes, you were right. He did experiment with that shot, looking for an alternative. And as you said, it didn't matter.
So Gery will know not to bowl that line next time. And Hoffman will be doing the same, won't he, I guess, because he knows he can't win, so now's a chance for him just to have a look at the lane and see what it's doing.
Yeah, the match is over, and Bill could well change ball here, change line, just experiment a little bit, try and learn something from the defeat, which might help him in the next match that he plays in. Yeah, sure enough, he's changed ball.
But he'll be glad to see the back of Gery Verbrugen. This is lightning striking twice, isn't it? He's met the Belgian twice and lost to him both times.
Yeah, that's quite right. I'm just wondering what he's saying to his teammates over there.
He's probably saying, "Hey, Captain, will you please not put me up against Gery Verbrugen next time?"
He's earned himself a couple of bonus balls in frame 10. He's overcooked that one a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's elementary. He's left himself the 3-pin. It'll be a straightforward spare. It won't mean anything except that if he spares it, he'll make the 200 barrel, a 200 game.
And he safely does. But nevertheless, in this race to 18 points in this year's Weber Cup, it's Team Europe, courtesy of Gery Verbrugen of Belgium, that opens the European account. He wins by 35 pins, and the Weber Cup is now 1 match all.